Rick Ness and his team are in a mad dash to find the treasure trove of gold hidden deep in Vegas Valley using the season drawing to a close. Workload tensions are rising, especially between Rick and his foreman, as the crew strives to shift thousands of tons of overburden in every hour that counts. Mr. Buzzrick has reinvested all of the crew's profits into the operation, leaving him with no safety net. The team needs to reach pay dirt quickly if they want any chance of a financial return. Earlier in the season, they had hoped with a $900,000 gold haul from Rally Valley, but now they face an even steeper challenge in Vegas Valley. The goal is to reach the rich gold deposits 210 feet below the surface, and with winter approaching, they have no time to waste. They are nearly 100 feet below the halfway mark, but the deeper they dig, the more grueling the process becomes to speed things up. Rick decides to add a fourth rock truck to the fleet. Moving crew members around is where the difficulty starts, but this relocation also enhances their dirt transporting capacity by 3,600 tons per day, which might reduce digging leaks. Buzz. Lego Buzz, an experienced excavator operator, is reassigned to drive a rock truck. This is a decision he doesn't take lightly because driving a rock truck isn't exactly a glamorous job, especially for someone with Buzz's level of experience. However, in a small crew like Rick's, everyone has to step up and do their part to keep the operation running. Rick points out, if you're going to complain, you might as well go home. Buzz seems to be rather frustrated. He doesn't utter a word, but his body language does. He complains about the bumpy road and the truck's continual jolting. At one point, he even phones in to tell that his phone keeps imagining an emergency due to the shaking. After Rick recognizes the problem and gives Buzz the task of reinforcing the road with an excavator, Buzz is still not satisfied with the results. Last season, it was clear that I was handling key operations. Somehow, this season, that's been forgotten, he says, clearly upset, before walking away. We'll see how it holds up when the rock trucks start rolling over it. For now, I'm done. As the day goes on, the crew notices something strange. Buzz is missing. Has anyone seen Buzz? Over the radio, Rick asks finally. After what seems like an eternity, they discover that Buzz is sound asleep inside a machine. This has happened before. Last season, the crew disregarded his midday naps because he was working as early as 4:30 a.m., but this time, things are different. He isn't putting in the necessary extra hours, and their decision to let him sleep while they struggle to keep up is starting to irritate them. After finally having enough, Rick confronts Buzz over the radio. His voice was filled with frustration as he pleaded with everyone to just stop sleeping. Everyone else was exhausted too, but they were all working their asses off in their machines. How disrespectful to sleep in front of your coworkers. Buzz finally speaks after a long pause, his voice calm but determined. I'm just done caring. I'll do what I have to. But when this season ends, I'm walking away from Buzz. The tension was palpable, and for a moment, no one knew what to say. Rick sneezes violently and rubs his face in frustration. He knew this was an uncomfortable talk that needed to take place in private at a later time. Rick approaches Buzz in an effort to set the record straight. He admits that they're all in a tough spot and tries to explain the larger picture, telling Buzz, "Listen, buddy, these guys need your help. We're a small crew, and if we want to make this season a success, we have to work hard, stay tight, and keep pushing forward." Buzz takes a brief glance aside before giving a silent nod. Yeah, I see. All we have to do is improve our communication. Despite the tension, there is a mutual understanding that they don't have to like the situation, but they do have to get through it together. The stakes are too high to let disagreements derail their mission, so the crew gets back to work. I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. just to meet with you, and if you think I'm sending you flowers, forget about it. What matters is that we're on the same page. The road has been repaired and the fourth rock truck is moving dirt relentlessly. However, the season is still young and Rick can feel the team's morale starting to crack. He knows that team cohesion is just as important as equipment and strategy, and that if the crew falls apart, no amount of gold will save the season. Can they stay composed long enough to hit paid dirt before the clock runs out? Everyone is watching, buzzing Rick's foreman, who is also an exceptionally competent operator, has been forced to spend much of the season operating a rock truck, a task that he evidently dislikes because he is used to taking on more significant responsibilities. No one on the squad can hide their displeasure from Buzz, who has been rather outspoken about his discontent. His once strong work ethic has diminished, and his lack of passion has been observed. Rick had sensed the tension for a while, but as the pressure to hit per mounted, he chose to approach Buzz head-on by dragging him aside on the hallway instead of letting animosity boil. Rick stressed that the present state of affairs must not last, noting that Buzz was not the only one on the squad who was weary. Even worse, Buzz's attitude was bringing morale crashing. It wasn't just about the labor. The fact that he would often doze off in the truck while his coworkers endured painful shifts sent the incorrect message. Rick wanted him to stop hanging out with Buzz and do his job, but he took criticism personally and fought back, venting his frustration at feeling sidelined and underappreciated since his role had changed. He had been an integral part of the project from the beginning, but now he was driving a rock truck, which wasn't what he had envisioned for himself. Rick calmly explained that he didn't want Buzz to feel down about his role, but rather that he needed an operator who could work well with others and adapt to whatever the operation called for. Rick also reminded Buzz that in mining, success wasn't about having fancy titles or favorite jobs, but about doing whatever was needed to keep the paid dirt moving. It seemed as like Buzz may go away for a time, muttering about the prospect of leaving plainly irritated, but he chose to stay instead of letting the debate escalate into a dispute since he couldn't believe that there was nothing further to talk. Rick changed his tone and admitted that Buzz had always been an important cog in the team's wheel. His expertise and experience were priceless, and the organization would suffer without him. Buzz took a moment to collect himself after listening to Rick's remarks. He acknowledged that there had been a lack of communication and that part of his aggravation came from not understanding exactly where he was in the process. Rick,